Have you ever watched School of Rock? It's one of my favorite movies. There's this moment when Jack Black's character, Mr. S, rips down the behavior chart in the classroom and the kids start to cheer. Now, I'm not saying that we should throw out structure like a rock star substitute, but there's something powerful in what happens in the days that follow. Community starts building, creativity's flowing, and students get excited about what they're learning. In this episode, we're diving into why the typical behavior charts and clip systems just aren't working anymore, and what you can do instead to actually see real, lasting change in your classroom. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. Let's talk about the good old behavior chart. Maybe it's color-coded, maybe it's a clip system, maybe it's stars or smileys or a jar of pom-poms. Either way, these kinds of systems are often our first go-to when student behaviors start to get out of hand. But here's the hard truth. These strategies, they're kind of surface level. And yes, they might manage behavior for the moment. They might even motivate some kids for a few days. But what they don't do is create long-term change. In fact, they can sometimes even make things worse if they become more punitive than supportive. In some cases, they can start to highlight mistakes, call kids out, and can unintentionally shame students who are already struggling with some regulation or social skills, which is something we really need to be aware of. In that iconic scene in the movie School of Rock where Mr. S tears down the behavior chart, you could tell that some of the kids were just sick of being labeled and are overjoyed at the idea of no more black dot demerits next to their names for all to see. And if you've seen the movie, you know that he continues on to build a new kind of atmosphere in the classroom in his own creative style through creativity and collaboration and some connection too. Of course, I'm not promoting a lack of rules and guitars in every classroom, although that might be kind of fun with the right group of kids, but I am promoting a different approach. It's interesting to see how promoting things like an atmosphere of belonging and that creativity and building social emotional skills in the movie, and they do it through music, can really make a difference in the students' behaviors and their motivation to learn. When we lead with things like behavior charts, we're managing the symptoms of behavior challenges, and we're not really addressing the root causes. Instead, if you address the real issues that contribute to negative behaviors, then those strategies like adding pom-poms to a jar or putting a sticker next to a student's name can actually start to work really well. In today's classrooms, with students who are navigating stress and trauma and big emotions, we have to go deeper, and that's where a true reset begins. So if you're finding yourself constantly updating that behavior chart, threatening to take points away, or reminding kids about the rules, this episode is going to give you a fresh lens on what might actually help instead. So we're going to look at 3 real contributors to creating better behavior in your classroom. The first one is establishing a caring classroom culture. Because let's face it, some students will behave just long enough to get a sticker or earn a few minutes of free time, but we can't rely on that for an entire class. It's just not realistic and definitely not sustainable. Now, what does it mean to establish a caring classroom culture? Well, it's not about the bulletin boards you create or the motivational posters that you put around your classroom. It really starts with you. It's about how you greet them, how you talk with them, how you carry yourself, what your students notice about you when they watch you, because you know that they're going to watch you. All of this matters. If you've been following me for any amount of time, chances are you've heard me say that you are the most important part of your classroom. And that is one of the biggest things we as teachers need to fully understand. We have such an influence on the culture we create inside our classroom. And that culture can be toxic, it can be tense, it can be draining, full of eye rolls. It can be full of muttered comments under your breath or under your students' breath, and students who just seem checked out. It can feel like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next blow up will happen or which student will refuse to participate. That was kind of harsh, wasn't it? But I think you get the picture. But there is the good news, okay? You have the power to shape that culture into something beautiful, a classroom full of positivity, motivation, meaningful learning, a place where your students want to be and where you want to be too. And most importantly, a place where everyone feels a true sense of belonging. Here's the deal. When students feel seen, they behave differently. When they feel like they belong, they show up as their best selves. Culture isn't fluff, it's really the foundation. And if your classroom doesn't feel like a safe, respectful place, the rest just doesn't matter. A caring classroom culture is about creating an environment where students feel respected, understood, and they feel important. It's where they know that their teacher actually cares, not just about their test scores, but about who they are as people. And when that's in place, everything changes. And here's the thing, if you're actually listening to this right now, I know for a fact that you are a caring teacher. If you weren't, you would not still be listening. You want your classroom to be a place where students feel seen and have a safe place to learn. And when you can really establish that sense, that atmosphere inside your classroom, well, then the behavior improves, engagement increases. And if you want to look more into how to actually do that effectively, that's one of the things we're going to be talking about inside the Classroom Reset Challenge. So please make sure you register. We're going to talk about so many aspects about how to improve student behavior. So go to theinspiredclassroom.com/challenge. I want you to join me in there. The second big contributor to improving student behavior is being able to support your students' social emotional needs. Now, supporting your students' SEL isn't a bonus. As a teacher in 2025, it is necessary. And it's not about being a classroom therapist. That I can promise you. This is about equipping kids with the essential skills they need to function and to thrive inside their own classroom. Because here's what we know. Emotions drive behavior. And if students don't know how to recognize what they're feeling or manage their emotions and respond to challenges appropriately, we're going to keep seeing disruptions that pull everyone off track. Teaching SEL in a way that I love to teach other teachers actually helps students develop their self-awareness, their impulse control, helps them to develop things like empathy and relationship skills, and it does it right inside your classroom where it matters the most. And my approach, which I will be sharing with you inside the Classroom Reset Challenge, is done in a way that it's not adding more to what you're already teaching, but it embeds into what you already do. Remember, I'm a teacher too, and I know that you don't have time to set aside every single day to do an SEL lesson. Instead, these types of things that we want to do with our students should be embedded into what we already do. And that is 100% possible. These are the skills that every student can and should be building to become not only better learners, but better classmates, better friends, and future citizens as well. All right, the third contributor to helping improve student behaviors is engagement. Engaging them through creativity and the arts. When students are engaged creatively, well, behavior problems go down because they're involved, they're interested, they're invested in what they're doing. And I want you to consider how you can up-level your engagement in your classroom through things like music and movement and visual arts, not as fluff or an afterthought, but as meaningful learning. Now, what I'm talking about here isn't just adding more to your already packed plate. It's about infusing creativity into the lessons that you already teach and using simple strategies that are based on the basics of arts integration. Now, as an arts integration specialist who's been teaching this to other teachers for the past 19 years, I can tell you that it is absolutely possible to make this work in real classrooms with real kids, and even with some real time constraints. And you don't need to be an artist or a musician or an actor to do this well. You don't even need to consider yourself particularly creative, although I'd be willing to bet that you are creative in your own ways. There are simple ways to integrate the arts and creativity and bring this into your classroom in a way that is going to work for you, in a comfortable manner for you, maybe stretch you a little bit outside your boundaries every so often, but you'll also be doing that with your students, and that's going to help them to really engage and invest themselves into their own learning. These strategies, they don't only boost engagement, but they provide meaningful pathways for students to really express themselves, to connect with their content, and stay focused on their learning, which in turn helps improve student behaviors. And I can't wait to show you exactly how this all truly works inside the Classroom Reset Challenge. So make sure you go and register at theinspiredclassroom.com/challenge. This is a free 2-day live event where we'll look more closely at these 3 powerful contributors to improving student behaviors to create a calm, connected classroom where learning and your teaching can finally happen again with some enjoyment on top of it, all right? And that's only the first day. On the second day, we're going to look at how all of these also contribute to helping you to practically eliminate teacher burnout. It's going to be amazing and eye-opening, and it just could be the thing that you actually need to reset yourself for the new school year. And it's free, so join me July 22nd and 23rd. It's going to be held on Zoom, 1-hour workshops each one of those 2 days. The first day, like I said, it's all about improving student behaviors. The second day is about how you can practically eliminate teacher burnout. I'm also going to have the replays included. There's going to be prizes, teacher community. There's going to be a bunch of other fun things, because why not? So go save your seat. This is the only way to get the Zoom links and the replays is to go to theinspiredclassroom.com/challenge. And I can't wait to see you inside the challenge. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.